All right, so this sets the stage for talking about Hitler and his rise to power. Coming out of World War One, Germany was completely devastated. If you recall from me talking about in lecture format previously about Wilson's 14 points, there were a lot of major limitations that were placed upon the nation state of Germany. They couldn't have a naval force. They couldn't have a standing army. They couldn't have military armament. The Maginot Line was created to protect France from Germany. Trade was disrupted. Commerce was difficult. Restarting the country of Germany and getting its industrial and economic power developed was not happening coming out of World War One. Also, major costs of reparations. Reparations are where one nation who is considered at fault is called upon to pay uh, to other nations a reparation or a an amount of money in order to help that other nation recover from its own economic collapse due to war. So Germany was supposed to also pay all of these things. What ends up happening in the 1920s, Germany goes into a major recession, a major depression, heavy inflation. And what ends up happening is they have a need for somebody to step into the space and accrue leadership and to take the lead for the nation. And that person ends up being Adolf Hitler. So let's just give a brief rundown about the ideology of fascism to start with, because Adolf Hitler is one of the representatives of a fascist mindset during this era. Characteristics: fascists were totalitarian in their mindset. They had a hero personality cult that is developed around them. The three most known fascist leaders leading up to World War II are also significant leaders uh, for the Axis powers. You have Italy's leader Benito Mussolini, you have Germany's leader Adolf Hitler, and then you have Russia's leader Joseph Stalin. Um, the hero always has a defined enemy that he portrays for the nation. For Italy, for Benito Mussolini's enemy, it was the liberal parliament. For Germany, it was worldwide Jewry. For the Soviet Russia, it was capitalists. There's a myth where one group ends up being privileged over all others. In Adolf Hitler's Germany, there is the Aryan nation, the blonde haired, blue eyed, white skinned uh, people who are privileged above all others. And these are the true German people. They are the people who are going to go out and populate the lands that the Germans conquer, and they will get to use the commodities that are natural resources from those lands. The leader is somebody who is above the law and is the lawmaker for the fascist country. And then the national will is more important than the individual will. It is a state alone that can solve the dramatic contradictions of capitalism. A state founded on millions of individuals who recognize it, feel it, are ready to serve it, is not the tyrannical state of the medieval lord. In the fascist state, the individual is not suppressed, but rather multiplied. Just as in a regiment, a soldier is not weakened, but multiplied by the number of his comrades. It cannot be the individual who decides in this matter, but only the state. The fascist state is a will to power and to government. In the doctrine of fascism, empire is not only a territorial, military, or mercantile expression, but spiritual and moral. That's Benito Mussolini talking about fascism. So Adolf Hitler comes in and he populates this vacuum of authority and leadership that is needed in Germany. He is a World War I veteran. In 1913, he is a survivor of World War I. In 1923, he's imprisoned for a failed coup, and during that imprisonment, he writes the work Mein Kampf. In 1933, he becomes um, one of the leaders of the Weimar Republic. Chancellor Reichstag passed, and it becomes Nazi Germany. In the later part of the 1930s, as the head of the Third Reich, he rearms Germany and ignores the Versailles Treaty that says that they cannot be armed. In 1938, he unifies with Austria, and the two become one power and allied to one another. In August of 1939, he occupies Poland, and the occupation of Poland is the first aggressive act that he takes that's leading towards World War II. The effects of Adolf Hitler's leadership. He is the totalitarian dictator that causes the world to storm over World War II. He is the aggressor of World War II who invades Poland. He then invades Belgium. And then he also takes Norway and Sweden in a very offensive, quick lightning war style. And then the Lebensraum, the living space for Germans in Eastern Europe. The living space is that space in Poland and also Eastern European countries that Russia had particularly dominated. He occupies and he creates the space for Germans to then move and migrate and spread the wealth of the empire and get more commodities to bring back to centralized Germany to increase the industry of Germany. The application of force alone, without support based on a spiritual concept, can never bring about the destruction of an idea or arrest the propagation of it. Unless one is ready and able to ruthlessly to exterminate the last upholders of that idea, even to a man, and also wipe out any tradition which it may tend to leave behind. Next time, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about World War II, and we're going to talk about the Holocaust. And so I hope all of this information has been very helpful for you. Stay tuned. Be reading. Be doing your assignments. And I hope, Lord willing, we'll get through COVID-19 together. Have a great day.